Halloween, also known as Samhain, originated from the ancient Celtic festivals that was often associated with human deaths. For this special day, I have decided to do something else other than my usual content. I have written and narrated 7 slightly distorted tales just for you. It may be lengthy, but I promise it will be worth it. Welcome to the world of my twisted mind. Please sit back and enjoy. Gluttony. Vince loves to eat exotic foods. He travels the world to be able to taste food not readily available anywhere else. He boasted on his blog that he will try anything and everything and is willing to go any place to eat the ultimate meal. A rare meal prepared only for him. Each time he reads or hears about places that offer a delicacy, he makes an effort to seek out that place in order to try that specialty. Vince has reached a point in his life that he pretty much ate everything that has been advertised and is now looking for the most elusive meal that he has only heard rumors of. Then one day, he was told that Phantom Islands has the meal that he has been searching for. The only problem was how to get to that fabled place. According to modern maps, it does not exist. But he keeps hearing rumors about a certain delicacy there that is supposed to rival the taste of foods eaten by the gods. And of course, he wants it. He was so obsessed with finding the island that he made inquiries everywhere he went. Until finally, he finds an old obscure map that contained the whereabouts of this island. Unfortunately, no one wanted to take him there because the island does not exist, but he was determined. So, he finally set sail for Phantom Islands on his own. Being a novice sailor, Vince unfortunately gets into an accident. He woke up in a small room and was told that due to the collision, his left leg had to be amputated. After speaking with his doctors, he was told that he has to stay in the hospital for 3 to 7 days so that he would learn some basic stuff to adjust to his new way of living. During these days, with every meal, he was given a bone broth that was supposed to help him heal faster. Vince managed to get a short-term lease rental to adjust to his new routine. While recuperating, he managed to get a couple of natives to help him with his day-to-day life. And at his insistence, they served him food that was native only to their area. With his meals, they would again serve him with bone broth. But for some reason, this batch tasted so much better. Then one day, his helpers told him to enjoy that last bowl because it was the last serving they can make for him. And when he asked why, he was told that they ran out of the bones they were using to make it. Puzzled, he asked them, "What's so special about this bone? Just go get more from where it came from." He was shocked by their answer. "We have been using your left leg for that broth, and we used the last part to make the last batch," they answered. He recovered quickly from the disbelief that coursed through him upon hearing the source of that oh-so-delicious soup. All he could say was, "I still have my right leg that you can use." Greed. Topher had it all in both his personal and professional life. He just got engaged to the sexiest lady of all time, who was both beauty and brains. He is also the most sought-out model actor of his generation, and yet he wants more. After he got married, Topher and his wife Grace decided that they should run a business so that they can secure their future. Topher proved himself to be a tough businessman, and soon his business became a success. Unfortunately, one night, on the way home from a gala, they were involved in an accident that claimed Grace's life, and since then, Topher changed drastically. All he cared about after that was himself. After all, no one else matters. He didn't care what anyone thought about him. Because of the accident, he had to get another operation. It was something cosmetic, but all he could think of was he was in pain. He was uncomfortable and miserable, and he wanted everyone else attending to him to feel the same way. After all, he was Topher Smith. Why couldn't they take care of him right away? "Now listen to me, Mr. Smith. This is the 4th attendee that you have insulted this week. You may be a man of authority in your business, but here, you have to listen to what we have to say. I came here for surgery, not a lecture. When are you doing it? My case has been pushed back due to an emergency. So what? You need to calm down, Mr. Smith. Do you need more money? Or do you just want me to die? I want the surgery over so that I can just go. You will be pleased to know that the reason I came in here was to tell you we are preparing the procedure area and that in a few minutes they will be wheeling you there. The attendees came and wheeled Topher to the procedure area. There he was sedated, and when he woke up, he was back in the room recovering. He was feeling so much better. He requested to be released from the hospital immediately. He will recuperate in his own home. Topher was released and he immediately went back to working like he didn't just have a procedure. He ordered his underlings to buy small companies left and right and merge them with his company, firing the employees from the small companies. He didn't care that people were suffering. All he cared for is that he gets more. A week later, Topher was meeting with his business partner, Jordan. I'm happy to see you up and about, Topher. I suppose you wanted me here to discuss how the mergers are going. Not really, Jordan. Have you foreclosed any of the rental properties that we have that are long overdue? I gave them an extra month to get their money together. With all that's going on right now, we can't expect anyone to come up with the rent money. What? I didn't authorize that. I wanted those people gone from there. I want a mall to be built on that prime spot, and I can't do that if there are still renters there. I want that property vacated over the weekend. What the hell is wrong with you? You have destroyed too many lives with your greediness. You have created enough misery and heartbreak to ensure that your soul will rot in hell. You can't talk to me like that. You are nobody. Had it not been for me, you wouldn't be where you are right now. All of a sudden, Topher felt a sharp pain in his chest and he keeled over. There was another darkness and he woke up in the operating table. It was all a dream. Could that have been some sort of warning? It's not too late. I can still change. I will be a better person.
Too late, Topher. You're already in hell.
Laziness. Gabe was born to a more than privileged life. His parents were old money wealthy and is making plenty more money, enabling them to lead lavish lifestyles for several generations without worrying about financial issues. And Gabe, well, he was considered an annoyance in their lives. Gabe was raised by nannies. His parents have always been too busy to look after him. In picture, they seem like they are the perfect family. And to make up for their being absentee parents, they made sure that he had everything he could possibly want materially. And they ensured that he always had someone with him by hiring 6 nannies to cater to his every need 24/7. That way, he didn't have to go to them for anything because there was someone always at his side. The nannies hired were well compensated for the job they did. One day, Gabe got so frustrated because he sent all his nannies on an errand and everyone else was busy doing whatever it was that they were hired to do, and no one was attending to his current needs. The thing about Gabe is that when he thinks of something he wants whatever it is right away and expects everyone to just leave what they are doing to do what he wants them to do. But in this case, unfortunately, no one came to him right away. And since no one answered his call, everyone suffered. Gabe wanted to ensure that no one will ever take him for granted. So he fired all of the people who worked there and made sure that they couldn't find employment elsewhere right away. No one dared to go against his wishes because their family was so influential, no one could afford to. Anyone who went against a member of Gabe's family would all of a sudden find themselves in the poorhouse. So what was it that Gabe wanted that resulted in such an upheaval? He was playing online on one of his devices and wanted peanuts. He had other snacks within reaching distance, but he wanted peanuts, and he already ate the last bag. The other bags of peanuts were inside the pantry in the kitchen, but Gabe couldn't be bothered to get up and grab one. So he demanded for some to be brought to him. And when no peanuts were delivered to him within 5 minutes, he got so upset that he couldn't focus on anything else. He immediately called his parents' assistant and told her to fire the current employees and hire more dependable ones. Without asking for a reason, she went ahead and did just that. One of the nannies hired on was Lonnie. Lonnie is a single mother and her daughter was sickly, so she more than depended on her job to make ends meet. Without the money that Lonnie made and unable to find a job right away, she couldn't keep up with the medical bills. As a result, her daughter passed away, leaving Lonnie a bitter woman. Lonnie was inconsolable and vowed that she would get her revenge on that brat. She promised her mom that she will never use the forbidden knowledge that her grandmother passed on to her. But blinded by the grief of losing her child, she was willing to trade her soul for the price of extracting revenge of Gabe. Because of you, I lost my daughter and I will get my revenge. But don't worry, I will not trade your life for hers, Lonnie said. Gabe de la Torre, I bind your legs and your arms so that you can no longer move physically. You have led your life like a sloth, then become one. I bind you, Gabe. I bind you. The following day, true to Lonnie's curse, Gabe woke up and couldn't move anymore. He was taken to different specialists and they all said the same thing. Nothing was wrong with him. There is no reason why he shouldn't be able to move in his own accord. Gabe spent the rest of his life in bed, unable to move on his own, not even able to speak. Wrath. Gideon couldn't shake the feeling that people are looking at him. He even thinks that the people sitting in the table next to him, who were laughing, were amused by him. And only because he happened to look over and someone reflexively looked back at him. What the heck do they keep looking at? Gideon looked back at his newspaper. He looks up again and he sees the same person looking at him. Why don't you take a picture? That will last longer, he said angrily and stood up and left. The kid was startled by his outburst and looked around, not knowing that Gideon was speaking to him directly. He just shrugged it off. He was actually lost in thought, daydreaming about what he and his friends were planning for the coming weekend. He and his friends looked at each other and just laughed. I'll show them. Laugh at me, huh? I'll show them. The following day, Gideon shows back up in school with something sinister in his backpack. At first, he kept to himself, which is almost always the routine anyway. He didn't make friends easily, but he used to have a friend. Unfortunately, due to circumstances not in his control, his friend moved away. He hangs out with other people, but wasn't really close to them. Then he heard this group of kids laughing. He looked up, but they weren't looking at him, but he knew they were laughing at him. Shut up! Just shut up! He yelled while getting up and reaching into his bag. He placed extra clips inside his pockets earlier and cocked his gun. He started shooting indiscriminately and people started panicking, yelling, running away. That's what I thought! Who's laughing now? He starts walking around and hears the loud commotion outside. In his broken mind, he thinks that he is hearing laughter when it's chaotic outside. Stop laughing at me! Stop laughing at me! Gideon yelled as he fired his gun. He was about to reload but stopped. Then all of a sudden, silence. Perp sir, a SWAT sniper reported to his superiors. Envy. Michael has everything he could ever want. His parents died when he was young, so his older brothers doted on him and became his substitute parents. His eldest brother strived to become a successful businessman so that he can provide more for his younger siblings. Their other brother, there were 3 of them, as soon as he graduated from high school, signed up to serve his country, but unfortunately was killed in action. By this time, Michael was already an adult with no job, but completely reliant on the handouts he gets from his brother. Their parents weren't all that well off, so when they passed away, they didn't really get anything from them. When Michael doesn't get what he wants, he acts out. He knows his brother would give in to his demands eventually. He knew how to manipulate his brother to get what he wants. Plus, his brother places a lot of importance as to how people perceives him, so he just gives him what he wants to get peace and quiet. But eventually, his brother met a woman and started becoming serious about her. They were discussing marriage, but Michael wouldn't hear none of it. He knew that if they get married, he will lose his cushy life. He tried his best to sabotage the relationship. So he started to act out, but this time, his brother just ignored him. His brother was away most of the time, which Michael really didn't have a problem with. He actually preferred it that way. Before meeting the girlfriend, his brother made sure that he had food delivered there whenever he was gone and that he got a weekly allowance. But when he met her, the money was slower to come in. As a result, Michael started resenting her, becoming jealous of her. He started noticing that whenever she came around, she came with new stuff. So he started bugging his brother for new things too. It started with a cell phone. She came around with the newest iPhone. So he destroyed his cell phone and pretended that it got messed up by accident, so his brother got him the newest iPhone. He overheard her on the phone regarding a new TV she just got. So now, he pestered his brother into getting him a new 85-inch TV and the newest game console, to which his brother reluctantly gave into and bought for him. Michael thinks to himself, "Why should you spend all my brother's money when I'm his blood and his money should all be mine?" Michael's demands gets more and more expensive, but each time his brother tells him he can't buy him whatever he's asking for, Michael destroys things in their house that his brother would have to replace. Then one day, she shows up in another brand new car. Michael loses it. How dare she spend all my money, he thinks. But she smiles at her when she gets closer. "My brother's not home right now," Michael tells her. She simply nodded and said, "I know. I came to tell you that he won't ever be home anymore." "What do you mean?" Michael looks at her. I just came from the coroners to identify his remains." Michael looks at her, still not comprehending what she was saying. Because you wouldn't let up on him, he started to maximize his credit cards, then borrow money to be able to buy the stuff you keep demanding from him. He wouldn't take any money from me, and unfortunately, he borrowed from the wrong person and couldn't pay his debt back within the agreed time frame. So as his punishment, they did this to him. "But he made great money at his job. How can he be in debt?" Michael asked. "He lost that job a year ago. He told you, but you refused to listen to him and instead kept on demanding more and more stuff. He loves you too much to ever refuse you," she said quietly. "But he kept buying you stuff. How can he keep on buying stuff?" Michael mumbles. She looks at him in astonishment and says, "What are you talking about? You really haven't been listening to him, huh? Whatever money I spent was money I made from an app I developed and sold. You pushed him to the edge with all your wants. Now, you have nothing."
Pride.
Since my childhood, I have been obsessed with black magic. I sought all the dark knowledge I could find in the world, even going as far as seeking out places not available to everyone. I just had to gain all the information I could. Then one day, I found the book in a secluded bookstore. Could it be? Nah, it can't be. But it is the Devil's Handbook. I paid for it and left hurriedly. I needed to study what's inside. My suspicions were confirmed. This is the handbook that Friar Kent had written before they burned him for being a witch back in the 1600s. This chapter looks very interesting. It gives the instruction on how to call up demons. I was able to mix the necessary chemicals and perform the ritual. But it didn't work. Did I miscalculate a step? I was about to try again when my cell pinged, notifying me that someone was at the door. I peered at the display on my camera and saw that it was Cindy, my girlfriend. "Hello, Brian." "Ew! What's that smell?" she asked. I had an accident with one of my experiments. The room is still clearing out," I replied. "I can't stand that smell. I'll come back this weekend. Maybe we can do something fun?" I just nodded, relieved that she was leaving. The following day, I decided to try the experiment again, but I decided to perform it in a more secluded area. My parents left me the ancestral home 2 hours from where I was, and that was a perfect place. I drove there first thing in the morning. It looks like no one has been there in a few years, and that was perfect for my purposes. I took everything I needed in, and that night, while a storm was raging outside and while I was going over the notes on the book, I saw a footnote stating that demons respond better during a storm. This nasty weather couldn't have come at a better time. So again, I did everything the book directed me to do, taking my time because I wanted this to be successful. I drew the circle on the floor and made my summons. I command you, demon, to appear and serve me. The cauldron where the concoction was mixed in started to bubble. Smoke was coming out more and more. It was growing, and then I smelled brimstone. When the smoke dispersed, there was this normal-looking man standing in front of me, but his eyes, if you looked at them closely, you could see a fire raging behind them.
I am here, Brian Robinson. I serve you. Make your commands known.
I wasn't expecting it to really work. I forced myself to remain calm and address this man in front of me. Are you really a demon and you will do anything I command?
Of course. Who would you like me to kill, rob, or maim? Or is it something else entirely? Give me an order and you will see what powers I have.
The demon replied, There is a dam nearby, with an abandoned town below it. I want that dam to burst.
Shh, that's a very small thing to test my powers on. But go to a nearby hill and watch it. It will burst in 30 minutes.
Half an hour later, I was looking down and nothing yet. Was that all a dream, I wondered? And then, I was morbidly fascinated by what I had done. But I heard yelling from there. I didn't realize, but there was a homeless encampment down there. I ran away, refusing to acknowledge all those that suffered. The following night, when the demon appeared again,
Are you happy with the outcome of your command?
Yes, you did well. But now, I have thought about all this and I want to change the world. I want all the evil person gone from this world. I must warn you, Master.
You are but a mere human. You cannot judge who can and cannot die. I will obey your command, but be careful.
I didn't listen to what he was saying. After all, what could possibly go wrong? And my work was just beginning. I want this person to die. He is the person behind the cartels, and I want to see it.
But of course, your wish is my command.
The next thing I knew, I was transported, and in front of me was a man whose face I usually see on television. I command you to kill him. And as the demon was killing him, all I could feel was satisfaction. With the demon at my command, I can rule the world. When the kingpin was dead and we had returned to the house, the demon left. I commanded him to come back early the following night. I had my list to work on after all. I wanted to go out after crooked politicians, the syndicates, and dictators. They all must die. The news was buzzing the next few days. It was reporting the bodies of all the people that was on my list. But one night, I opened the door to Cindy. I forgot about her in my quest to rid the world of everything evil. Brian, why haven't you called me? We were supposed to spend time a few weeks ago. Are you okay? Cindy asked me worriedly. I opened the door to let her in. I was so worried about you. You're not replying to my messages. What have you been up to all this time? I explained to her what I have been doing the past few weeks. A demon? Are you okay, baby? Cindy looked at me closer. You'll see. All I have to do is say his name and he will be here. Watch. I recited the demon's name and he appeared.
What can I do for you, Master?
What the heck is that? Cindy covered her eyes. I couldn't believe myself. Why did I share that information with her? I know my secret will not be safe. So I commanded the demon to kill her. What are you waiting for? I said, kill her!
No, Master, I cannot. She's too beautiful, too good. I didn't mind killing the others. They were meant to go to hell anyway. But with her, I will not do this.
Don't kill me, please, Cindy begged. Kill her. You must obey me. I am your master. I raised you from the depths of hell. Kill her, I commanded. The demon waved his hand and Cindy vanished. Where did she go? I asked.
I sent her home and she will not remember any of this.
I am your master. You have no choice but to obey me.
You were my master and you have become evil. So as commanded, I will rid this world of one more evil person.
Lust. Micah fell in love with a woman named Elsa, and Elsa returned his feelings. It was a whirlwind romance, and not long after meeting each other, they were married. During the honeymoon, Micah wouldn't let Elsa out of his sight, always wanting to spend time with her. After the honeymoon, Elsa got sick, and Micah brought her to all the specialists near and far, but no one could do anything for her. Elsa died soon after, and Micah was heartbroken. Arrangements were made for the funeral. A day before Elsa was to be buried, someone from the insurance agency came by to give Micah a check for $500,000. It's a good thing you insured her life as soon as you guys got married, huh? What? Oh yeah, the insurance. Thank you, but I would like to be alone right now. I don't mean to be rude, but I would like for you to leave. The insurance agent was suspicious about Micah's reaction. But what can he do? There's nothing that indicated that Elsa's death was caused by foul play. A few nights after Elsa was buried, Micah decided to go to her mausoleum. Oh, Elsa, I miss you so much. I know this was all just a mistake, and soon we will be together again, my love. We will be together forever. He took Elsa home and placed her body in bed. You are so beautiful. Stay here, my love. I will be right back. Micah went to a local taxidermist and kidnapped the guy who worked there and brought him to his house. The taxidermist refused to stuff Elsa, but Micah threatened to kill him. The taxidermist had no choice but to do what he was ordered to do. Micah killed him afterwards in order to keep his secret. With the money Micah got from the insurance, he quit his job. Then he went back to how his life was, treating Elsa like she was alive, bringing her food, talking to her, and bringing her to different places. It seems like Micah lost his mind, but he didn't care. He was with the love of his life. On one of the nights he was driving her around, someone saw them. It wasn't until the third sighting that someone finally decided to check on Micah. They contacted the cops and asked them to do a welfare check on Micah. He saw them outside and knew that they had to leave their place. Before the police could knock on his door, they heard a car driving away. They tried to flag him, but he didn't pay attention to them and just kept driving in the direction of the cemetery. Micah went straight to the mausoleum and barricaded it so that they would not be disturbed. He lovingly laid Elsa down, took his gun out, and... Hey guys, if you lasted this long listening to my twisted tales, thank you. I appreciate you hanging out here with me. Enjoy the rest of your Halloween. Blessed be.